And I want to speak to. I spoke to. A. Don't. But yeah. Okay, everyone, if we can find our seats, silence our cell phones, we're about to get started. I will do the same. And if we can just close the back door or the side doors, any doors that are open, I greatly appreciate that too. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Tuesday, the 15th day of October in the year 2024. This is a City Council caucus meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 4 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 4:02 p.m. May we have a roll call for the commencement of this caucus? Councilperson Ridley will be here a little later. Councilperson Prinzary.
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Here.
Councilperson Soleil.
Here.
Councilperson Solomon is not here yet. Whoops. Councilperson Gilmore is not here yet. Councilperson DeGise.
Here.
Councilperson Rivera.
Here.
And Council President Waterman.
Here.
If I can, I'll make it. All right.
We have 6 council members in attendance at 4:02 p.m. On behalf of Council President Waterman and members of the Municipal Council in accordance with the New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall, the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2024, and filed in the office of the City Clerk on Thursday, November 30th, 2023. In addition, at the time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, October 11th, 2024 at 4:55 p.m. to the mayor, municipal council, business administrator, corporation council, and the local newspapers, and posted on the city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. I am going to mark Councilperson Solomon present at 4:03 p.m. So we now have 7, thank you, 7 council members present at 4:03 p.m. Council President, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good afternoon. Our first Director Kears.
Good evening, President Waterman and members of the council. I have 8 items before you today. The first one is Resolution 24-745. Resolution will authorize the Department of Public Safety to apply and accept the FY24 Burn Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $99,321. These funds will be utilized for the continuation of foot and vehicular patrols that will address quality of life complaints, can cover tactical gang and drug enforcement operations.
That's 10.21, correct, Director?
1021, correct. Next item is Resolution 24-746, 1022. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to CDW Government Incorporated for the purchase of Gray Key license for the Police Department Cybersecurity Unit through the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey. Total amount of the contract is $61,583.23, and it is funded through the fiscal year 2022 UASI grant. Third one is item 1023, resolution 24-747. Resolution will authorize the acceptance of a grant from the United States Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, under the Port Security Grant Program for the maintenance of 2 fire department marine vessels. Total amount of this grant is $75,000 with matching funds from the city in the amount of $25,000. Next is resolution.
Can I ask you a question, Greg?
Yes, Councilman.
What happened to our police boat? Does it ever go out? Do we use it?
It's in service. It's currently out of service. It needs repairs, but we cover that on the UASI grant.
Are they going to use it though?
It is in on the water. They're bound to do Homeland Security patrols on the waterways. That's part of the acceptance of the grant.
Will this include the Ellis Island portion, or is that,
I'm sorry, Councilman.
sorry. Will they be patrolling like your downtown Jersey City, or like where will they be patrolling?
Any of the primary and tertiary waterways.
Okay.
With the boats you're talking about? Yes, any of the primary and tertiary, Hackensack, Passaic, Hudson.
Okay. And it's 2 vessels, you said?
Fire department has 2, police department has 1.
Got it.
Resolution 24-748-1024. Resolution will authorize the City of Jersey City Department of Public Safety to apply and accept the FY 2025 Safe and Secure Communities Grant from the New Jersey Department of Public Safety, Office of the Attorney General, in the amount of $150,498, with a local match of $220,088. That'll cover the salaries of 8 police officers, which include the coverage of grant and fringe benefits that's already absorbed by the city. Next one is Resolution 1035, 24-759. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to McCluskey Mechanical Contractors for boiler maintenance services for city-owned buildings under the Huntington County Educational Service Commission. Total amount of this contract is $150,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $75,000. 1036, 24-760. Resolution will authorize the award of a public sale of 55 motor vehicles, 1 3-wheel scooter, 1 utility lift truck, 4 all-terrain vehicles, and 5 mechanical street sweepers that are no longer needed for public use through the publicsurplus.com public line auction. 1037, Resolution 24-761. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Verizon Connect Fleet USA LLC for the purposes of GPS fleet tracking subscription services for city-owned vehicles through the Sourcewell Purchasing Co-op. Total amount of the contract is $80,000. And the last is 1038, 24-762. Resolution will authorize the rejection of bids received by the City of Jersey City on September 12th, 2024 for contract caption custodial services supplies 2024 number 2409-002.
There's nobody here from the police department to answer questions on parking, the police department, 911. Once again, there's nobody here from the director or anybody. There's so many issues on the police department, the parking authority, 911, and they're never here.
PA is his boss. He can't get him here. We got a problem.
Maybe we need some changes.
Council President, if you would allow me, I just want to mark Councilperson Gilmore present at 4:07 PM. So we now have 8 council members present at 4:07.
Director Goodman. Christine. Christine. 10.19. Next.
Right. Good evening, City Council, Council President. I have 2 items before you today. Item 1019, a resolution authorizing the city to issue a certificate of insurance for Arrow Archery to host a film screening and reception. This is the 10-year anniversary of the Jersey City Youth Mural Arts Program. And so this is the insurance certificate for that. This is item resolution 24-743. And a resolution, item 1020, a resolution authorizing the city to issue a certificate of insurance to Cinelise for lighting equipment to illuminate the mural as part of that event. Resolution 24-744.
Is this different than the city mural arts program, or are they like a subdivision of the city's mural arts program?
They are. This is a program that, in conjunction with the Department of Recreation, their summer youth program, we hire about 25 young people to execute a full-scale mural. And then we also document that for a screening, a documentary screening, which will be on October 24th at Arrow Archery, 94th Street. I hope you're able to attend. And then we'll cut the ribbon on that 10th mural celebrating 10 years of supporting the youth program on Saturday, October 26th. So we'll reach out with information, but please join us for that.
Are they kids from across the city? Do they
Yes.
express
20
interest?
25 young people, 13 to 25 participate, and some have been in the program for all 10 years. So
Wow,
they'll speak about their experiences in the program.
it's beautiful. Thank you,
Yeah,
Director.
it's a beautiful event.
I know I have two presentations. I have the arts and I have the SID that wants to present. What we do, we listen to the current city business first, and then we do the presentations, okay? So we haven't forgotten you, all right? That's not a problem. It's
Council-
that I know the directors are here and sometimes the directors have to leave. So they sign in according to first come, first serve. And so I try to honor that because I know some of them have to go back to work. So presentations is really not on the agenda per se because we're doing current business. So that's why the presentations are done at the end. Okay? Thank you. Drew?
Council President, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to mark Councilperson Ridley present at 4:11 PM. So we now have all 9 council members present at 4:11.
Drew?
Good afternoon, Council President, council members. I have 4 items today. The first of which is agenda number 10.42, resolution 24-766. This is a resolution authorizing a notice in lieu of deed notice agreement with PSE&G for known contamination on Halliday Street. This is something that is in institutional control to work with the engineering cap that is in place on site. If you do have questions, there is representation from PSE&G here today.
Can you describe like the scope of work, how long it'll take, and
The engineering, a clean soil cap is in place, so that work is done. This is just the institutional or, government control on that. So if there's any digging there, the parties would be notified and PSE&G is ultimately responsible in perpetuity.
okay. Are they going to fix the street once they dig it up?
Yes, this one's a little weird because it's part of the larger PPG site. So that street's now basically been excavated for PPG's remediation purposes, which is separate. But yes, there will be future street construction as part of that redevelopment of that area.
Okay.
Oh, this is across from Garfield on on the opposite side of the park.
Yeah, opposite side of the
Like
light
it's in the
rail,
900s. Well, it all depends what parcel it is, but across the street from them,
essentially between Carteret and Caven Point.
Haven Point, yes. Oh, okay.
Currently, the road is gone because of the
Yes.
remediation.
Drew.
Next one, similar type of notice in lieu and deed notice. This is agenda item number 10.43, resolution 24-767. This is a known site of Honeywell's site 188, and this is for contamination that's in and around the sewer infrastructure. So not feasible to excavate it without disrupting that sewer. Same thing, institutional control for that site. This is at Sussex Street, sorry. Next is agenda number 10.44, resolution 24-768. This is a resolution requesting a 6-month extension for the grant project for Christopher Columbus Drive. We are working on some design constraints and working with some utility upgrades. So we are requesting the DOT give us 6 more months to award a contract to a construction company.
Can I just ask on that? We're asking for the 6-month extension. When do we hear back from, when should we expect to hear back from the state?
This is part of the process. We should hear back within a month or so, based on the new PMRS system. They're pretty responsive.
Okay, and if the state does not grant the extension, what would be our next steps at that point?
Just to negotiate further and maybe ask for a shorter extension would be the first step.
Okay, great. Just keep us in the loop on that because we obviously want to see the project move forward and understand why we have the extension, but we want to be helpful. Thanks.
No problem. Final one is item number 10.45, 24-769. This is a resolution rejecting all bids received for the Morris Canal Greenway project. Unfortunately, we've bid this multiple times, and the state DOT Civil Rights Office has deemed that all responsive bidders were not in compliance with their forms. So we're moving to reject all bids with the purchasing agent and go back out to bid again.
Question?
What was specifically not in compliance in those forms that, made this? Was it they're not diversity, or what is the, I know they have the diversity statement, but what was it exactly?
Unfortunately, the low bidder did comply with the percentage goal. They missed handing in a form.
Oh,
There was-
okay.
We tried our best to negotiate. It's just there was no wiggle room with the state on that one. The other bidders simply missed all the forms that they needed to submit. They didn't include any in their bid package.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Anar?
Good afternoon, Council President and council members. I have 3 items in front of you. First is item number 10.47, resolution 24-771. It's a resolution providing local support for a Higher Ground Dispensary LLC to operate a Class 5 retail cannabis business. They will be located at 41 Marin Boulevard. They were approved by the CCB on November 13th, 2023. Planning Board on August 20th, 2024, and they have 2 MOUs in place. And there are no distance issues.
Maynard, if you could ask them to reach out to my office, I didn't even know this was in Ward F. Yeah, so if you could get, Erica, if we can get the owner's contact, so we can reach out.
Sure. Next, we have item number 3.2, a first reading of ordinance 24-090. Ordinance amending chapter 84, alcoholic beverage control and cannabis, article 1, plenary retail consumption and distribution licenses. This is just adding a new category of licenses. It's for nonprofit theaters. As a companion to that, we are also required to, it's going to be on agenda number 10.46. It's resolution number 24-770. It's a resolution declaring the City of Jersey City's intent to issue a new plenary retail consumption license to a nonprofit corporation operating at an art house theater license. Actually, every time there's an application, a resolution will come in front of the council. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council President and Council. I have 2 items for today, and the first item is Resolution 24-725, item agenda number 10-1, and this is a resolution authorizing the insertion of special items to the revenue and appropriation, and these are a list of 5 grants that we're adding in a total of $3,298,728. The second item is item 24-726, which is agenda number 10-2. And this is the insertion of special items and revenue and appropriations. Again, these are grants that we're adding. This 15 grants in a total of $11,191,674.85.
Just with regards to that, Ms. Webb, and I don't know if this was in the jurisdiction of your office, if we can just do a better job at advertising these grants to different areas and different communities. Because something that's always perplexing to me is when I see grants going to the same group of people all the time. And this is not necessarily to say that they're not deserving of it or they're not doing the work. But I'm of the opinion that everyone should have fair and equal access to these grants. So we can do a better job at just advertising these grants.
So that would be community development, and I will pass that along. But just to let you know what we are planning in regards to the grants office is in the future, we're going to be working with our grant consultants to look for grants where we can partner with community organizations, nonprofits, allowing them to partner with us and and we are asking our grant consultants to look for like startup money and just individual grants for not just for the city, but for nonprofits and community organizations. Because we understand that they don't have the funding to utilize a grant consultant. Thank you.
Jake?
Good evening, Council President and members of council. I have two matters this evening. The first is agenda item 10.17, a resolution approving Lee Chang as a per diem municipal prosecutor. With the swearing in of Judge Maury, we have another evening session, and we often reach outside of our office to other attorneys that work in the city to be per diem municipal prosecutors. And Lee Chang is the Director of Immigrant Affairs, and he has a law degree, and he expressed interest in helping us provide coverage for that session. Resolution 1018 is my second and last one. The National Association of Code Enforcement recognizes October as National Code Compliance Month. So the administration, myself, submitted a resolution expressing gratitude to code inspectors and asking the council to join in expressing that gratitude, and not just gratitude to the code compliance inspectors in my division, but to our inspectors in fire prevention, as well as the various offices in economic development, HEDC, and health and human services.
Yes. Jake, with regards to Lee and the prosecutor, so he works for the city. So he's gonna go over on per diem schedule, and then what happens after that? Do we go back to his?
Well, these are evening, I should have been more specific. These are evening court sessions only. So he probably wouldn't physically go back. But we have a handful of assistant corporation counsels that per diem prosecute for us. This is our first time reaching beyond the law division, but it would be the same deal. He would clock out as his primary job and then clock in as a per diem prosecutor.
I thought we couldn't be on two municipal payrolls at the same time.
Jump in.
It's a stipend-based thing, so the way it would work when Lee's not being paid for his regular job duties, if he's doing additional work that are not included as part of his additional job duties, he can get a stipend for that.
How long do we anticipate he will be there at the? Because I'm just scared that. Well, first of all, I'm concerned about any employee being on two city payrolls. And then two, do we have a plan? All right, let's say the court's backed up and they need help as it relates from a prosecutor standpoint. How long do we anticipate on him being there?
So you'll have all of them there for as long as we're having night sessions. The rationale behind it is if you had the full-time municipal prosecutors doing it, they could be working 12-hour days. So you basically give them an 8-hour day. The per diem prosecutors, as Jake was referring to them, come in for the night sessions and they handle the final session. So it basically relies on how many different night courts we have operating at a given time.
And oh, sorry.
Well, let's hire you, Seth.
Wait, no, I was gonna ask. Wait, are you done asking questions or?
Yeah, no.
I was gonna ask, does the volume of casework like necessitate the hiring of a nighttime prosecutor? Like how many nights a week are they gonna be doing this? And
We do 6 sessions a night, 4 nights a week.
okay,
I did once incorporate it into somebody's hours and they started midday and went evening. From a management standpoint, it wasn't entirely practical. If I was to replicate that, I would have like a bell curve with a lot of lawyers in the middle of the day. And so this is really the most efficient way to do it, even from a cost point of view. Our per diem rate is below every other municipality in Hudson County. But that's a different conversation.
It is.
But yeah, so from a cost standpoint, this actually is more beneficial than having an employee lawyer in the evening.
and you do need prosecutors because I saw there's been an appointment of judges over the last few, like 6 months, a year. So I guess that, they would need a prosecutor there as
Yeah.
well. Is there, and I know you guys do a lot of work for code compliance. I was wondering if there's a way you could send us information as to how many summonses get issued or like any KPIs that you could disclose to the council. If I was to ask about Ward D and specifically, if that would be able to be broken down.
I do monthly numbers from all my offices. I'm happy to channel them to the council if I'm able to do that directly or through the administration. I don't, by design, though, break them down by neighborhood.
Okay.
The only thing I can break down by neighborhood is what comes in through C-Click-Fix, but that's not going to be the full picture of what inspectors do because they handle direct calls for service from residents, from council members, from the telephone that is not captured in C-Click-Fix.
Just because we hear so many complaints like, oh, it's so dirty, this and that, and people don't understand the process that they're given time to remediate the issue, if they get a warning or even a summons, they have 30 days.
Our summons numbers have consistently doubled the last 3 years. I think some things that folks don't understand is my inspectors write a summons. They don't pick up the trash. When we see large dumps, we do call that into Public Works and we track all that, but we are not the city office that picks up illegal dumping.
Got it. Okay.
So
Those are appropriate questions for other departments in the city.
okay, so legal, just to be clear, so I'm clear. You can be on 2 city payrolls if one is paid via stipend.
I mean, I don't know if it's a payroll. You're basically filling out a form that said you did the work on a given night, and regardless of how long it was, you get the same pay for it. So it comes in with your regular paycheck.
So what he's saying is, so you can be on a stipend. You can work one job by the city full time, and then if there's another position available, then you can be on a stipend. Any employee in the city of Jersey City can do it. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all he wants to clear.
So if we can, if we could just get, like, I'm just concerned about the scheduling. So I know he works in the daytime from, I don't know, 8 to whatever. What time does night court typically start and what time does it normally end?
It starts around 4 o'clock, and depending on what judge you have, it can go until 10 o'clock at night. But most judges are done by 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So between 4 and 5 hours. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. John Mercer?
Good evening, council. I have one item. It's agenda number 1010, resolution 24-734. This is an award of a competitively bid contract to Catalyst Payments to provide credit card and electronic payment services.
John,
Yeah,
Sorry, are they going to cover our online property tax payments?
Yes,
And what is the fee going to be both for the electronic bank transfer and for the credit card?
for credit and debit cards, it's 2.2%.
Okay.
For e-checks and ACH transactions, it's 95 cents.
Okay, for the credit cards, I mean, is there any way to cap the percentage? Just if someone's, paying a large property tax bill via credit card and.
Well, I looked and it seems like most of the property tax payments are done by e-check. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean, you
95%.
save a lot of money if you do pay a check, but sometimes folks, you might need to use a credit card.
I mean, there is no way to cap it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay,
Thank you, John.
thank you.
Laura?
Good afternoon, Council President and Council members. I have 4 items. The first one is Resolution 24-727, item 10.03. A resolution to cancel a portion of 8 months of the 2023 added assessment on Block 5006, Lot 22, due to the erroneous assessment. The property is 86 Prospect Avenue. The property was subject to an added assessment of $528,500, but erroneously was placed $1,065,400. So I'm requesting a council members to authorize the tax collector to cancel $8,042.76, which is the difference of the added assessment bill.
Laura, when we do these tax cancellations or these reassessment things, what's the actual amount that the city is charged?
Well, it depends how many months you are going to cancel. So I don't know how many quarters. So we go by monthly. So if it's 12 months and they're supposed to get a credit for 6 or 8 months, so we just take 12 divided by the number of months. And that's how we refunded the taxes.
Now, when we refund, they're going to be refunded and not credited, correct?
Depends. If depends the amount of money. If they can cover the following quarter, usually it's credit. But if it exceeds the amount, they usually could be refunded. But usually it's credit. In the past few years, the tax collector credit to the following quarters.
I have, well, a lot of, not me personally, but a lot of people take issue with us crediting their bills, especially when we've made the mistake, whether it's via appeal or something that we caught, because their whole position is, well, if I'm paying up front, you don't even know if that person borrowed that money for that quarter, right? They don't want to be credited. So I guess my question is there any way we can get in the business of reimbursing people that have overpaid for whatever reason?
I think it's in case by case basis. I don't recall any complaint about somebody having an issue with the refund because we usually credit for the following quarters. Personally, I didn't have any phone call with any complaint about the refund.
But that is something that we can explore.
Be done, yes, of course. The collector we can talk about it.
Perfect.
Okay, the next item is Resolution 24-728, item 10.04. A resolution authorizing a payment of a claim submitted by a Association Appraisal Group for appraisal services in support of the Jersey City tax assessor in property evaluations and in defense of tax appeals. The claim to be paid is $8,000 for 3 appraisal reports that was done for the city. And the next resolution is, any questions?
Yeah, just, can you just describe why it's a payment of a claim?
Oh, well, we hire 2 appraisal companies to do different appraisal reports for tax court or county board appeals. Could be for reverse appeals also. So basically, we have a contract that was approved in July 11, 2024, but we had to request appraisals before that contract was approved. So we need to pay them back basically what they already did.
And just how much are each of these claims?
Oh, well, it's $8,000 for 3 properties, depending what kind of property they appraisal, if it is a commercial, industrial, or multi-family. So it's depending on the type of property that they are appraising.
I was going to say, you said they do reverse appeals as well?
Yes, we do. We do every year reverse appeals.
do we have any stats on how many we've done? Because I know, is the deadline, is that passing or has it passed?
Well, every year, April 1st.
April
Yeah,
1st.
every year, April 1st, we do that. So we can share the list of the properties that we filed in the past few years.
Okay.
Next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, Laura.
The next one is the same kind of claim. It's a resolution 24-727. The same is a claim, a payment of claim for the company Integra Realty, which is the other appraisal company. It's the same type of payment, and the invoice is 40,725. He did 10 appraisal reports.
So this, you said 40,000
Yeah, he did 10 appraisal reports.
and it's, oh, okay. He did. All right.
Any other question?
No.
So the last resolution is resolution number 24-730, item 10.06, a resolution granting a veteran's exemption for the Block 18406, Lot 16, qualifier 7701, location 145 Harrison Avenue. Property owned by 100% disabled veterans are eligible for 100% tax exemption and their primary residence. Therefore, I'm requesting the municipal council to cancel or credit the refund of the total amount of $692.82. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
On. Fire department. Oh, they back there.
Rich, there's Ray, Rich. Rich, there's Ray. This is Ray Myers.
Okay. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Good evening. Good evening, Council President. Good evening, Council.
Okay, go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're here for ordinance, first reading, 3.3,
Mhm.
ordinance supplement one, construction codes, adopting the updated construction safety manual for 2024. And it's ordinance 24 dash.
I can't hear.
Mike, here's Ray. The mic, come closer.
Okay, it's ordinance 24-091 PDF. And basically what's been done is we've clarified some language in the ordinance. We turned around and filled a lot of the gaps that occurred in the past 5 years. And we added additional fire safety provisions in it for buildings that are under construction.
Ray, did you solve that problem?
Wait, Rich, wait, let's stay on this topic first, Rich. Any question, guys? Go ahead.
Sure. I just have a more generic question, which is, I understand sometimes the Uniform Construction Code governs, obviously, our laws. How does this site safety manual kind of intersect with the Uniform Construction Code? Does it, are there contradictions? Does it add additional requirements? Does it just repeat the UCC? Can you just sort of give me a sense of how these two things work
It's
together?
basically in addition to the Uniform Construction Code.
Okay.
Where it's in addition to the Uniform Construction Code, whereupon there's not a regular citation for having debris in front of a building or the basically working hours, that type of thing.
So who's, bless you, in charge of the enforcement of the site safety plan? Would that be the fire department? Is that the construction code officials? If a developer is violating the proposed site safety plan?
It would be done both under construction code and fire.
Would they be different, like summonses, or is it someone would basically either or would be able to enforce this this law?
It would be an ordinance violation, so it would
Okay.
be a ticket that would be issued.
Yeah, no, I'll call you in the morning, Ray. I'll bother you tomorrow.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate
It
that.
says,
All right.
sorry, it says construction is permitted on Saturdays, or
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to bring it up, Ray,
it
but
says, I don't know. It says construction demolition activities permitted on Saturdays and federal holidays. between
The exception, with the exception of the main holidays, and that's keeping in conjunction with basically union things, because we seem to have a conflict with different job sites that are operating, okay, that we try to keep it under control, but to keep it under control, it's just become too much of a task to do it, okay? So in keeping with the noise ordinance that's in effect, which allows for construction on on Saturdays and holidays, permits it, it will be limited to the hours from 9 to 5.
Yeah, Ray, we need more inspectors because what we're going through up in Journal Square is a disgrace. I'm on the phone with you every day. You know what I'm talking about, and people are tired of it. Especially the other day, you know, I was in the backyard. They were saying they were painting only, but boy, painting, I never heard painting with hammers and drills. Something's got to be done, Ray. You have to have more inspectors before you retire next month. And I'm not going to your retirement party.
Who said there was a retirement party? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Tanya?
We have a few things. The first is the fee change ordinance for zoning and one for city planning. But I don't know if you remember at our budget hearing, I had said to you that because Tyler allows for just.
You're talking about 3.8, Tanya?
I think so. Yep, 3.8.
3.8.
So because the online system allows you to submit once, the fees that were being charged was just that one-time fee. But the way zoning was doing it previously was you would submit, you would get denied, and then you'd come back to the process again and kind of be double charged. Instead of doing that, we just found a more reasonable charge that reflects the amount of work that's put into an application, and then covers all the amendments that go through. So these new prices, these new fees are more in line with basically our budget, the work that we're doing, and they haven't been updated in a while. Also, the one thing that was added here, just so there's some clarity, is a charge for zoning determinations that are made for short-term rentals and driveways. So right now, as a part of the process, you have to get a zoning certificate that says that you have a legal driveway or curb cut. And you have to get a zoning certificate that says that you're allowed to have a short-term rental. We are doing those reviews for free. So just adding these words to this fee means that we can charge them the same fee that we charge for all the other determinations that we do. That's really pretty much it for the fees. I don't have the agenda in front of me, but we do have a resolution on tonight to open the Green Villa to study introducing senior housing specifically into the Collier Center. We have been working with the councilwoman on this. Again, this is just a resolution to authorize the planning board to conduct that study. It's already in redevelopment, so it won't have to be designated. We can probably just move forward with community meetings at your pace and coming up with a plan. And then the plan can probably go to the planning board. It might be a little bit easier than what you're used to. But I do have Matt Da Silva here and Matt Ward to talk about a couple more things on the agenda, if you don't mind.
It's not up here. Did you sign in, Matt?
Good evening, Council President and members of City Council. I have one item for you tonight. Agenda item number 10.41, Resolution 24765. This is opening up the West Side Avenue redevelopment plan. This was petitioned by the developer of 277-301 West Side Avenue, which is currently a vacant industrial structure in the corner of West Side Avenue and Fisk Street, across the street from College Towers. The zoning in place at this site currently facilitates the adaptive reuse of this building as a residential loft style residences. Residential is currently the only allowed use. In the course of preparation for construction, the developer informed us that they found that the ground floor of the existing building is not suitable for residential habitation. In light of that, they want to put a mixture of amenity space and commercial use on the ground floor. Commercial is not currently allowed use. They've asked us to reopen the plan so the planning board can study adding commercial as a ground floor use along this stretch of West Side Avenue, which is becoming more of a mixed use corridor anyway due to University Place and other nearby developments.
Questions?
I was going to ask a question regarding the fees for 3 point, but I know we segued quickly through it. So I know you're requesting for zoning determination letter for like driveways that they pay for it. Now, what would happen in the case of like someone putting in a C-click fix for like an illegal driveway? Is that that would be done for free, or is that like, is it?
That's more of an inspection on a potential violation. It just because like you get a C-click fix and I say in the C-click fix that it's legal, is not. If you tried to represent that to me as an approval, I would tell you that's not an approval. That's me countering a C-click fix.
Is there any way to require these letters upon sale of a property? Because there's so many that are illegal, and I would, you know, I don't know if that's something that could be done in coordination with the county and the city, because I know the deeds are recorded through the county, but is there a way for us to enforce that, or I don't know?
I mean, a lot of other municipalities do have zoning certificate, so zoning compliance certificate at sales right before a building gets sold and hands get turned over. We don't have that here. We tried to do it, if I can remember at this point, probably about at least 15 years ago. And it was really, there was a lot of pushback from realtors because it's an extra, it takes more time within the sale. So yes, you can do that.
We can.
And require it, absolutely.
We should.
Be an
The
ordinance.
only pushback was by realtors.
Right.
Realtors, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think we should do it if the realtors are pushing back. I really don't want to piss them off.
But so Tanya, how can we implement that?
What did you say?
How can we implement that if this is something that we think should be done?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, you can require a zoning certificate at point of sale. I'm pretty sure, I know Laura left, but I know that, for example, the tax assessor gets a copy of every deed and has record of every sale. So there are ways that we are tracking those things.
It's just, we need to implement, because it's hard to catch, because even with some of these illegal driveways, they look legal. Only how I know they're illegal because I know the neighborhood and I know it wasn't there, but it looks perfectly legal. So to someone purchasing a house, I can see why they will be up in arms. I know we had an incident with that on Brinkerhoff. And I actually thought it looks like a legal driveway. So I think we really have to do something.
Can we work on that?
Could we do that?
Law
with the
department.
certificate of occupancy?
In reality, the amount of actual legal driveways is probably 25% ones that are on the book as legal driveways. But because at some point driveways were being grandfathered based on how far you could go back in Google Earth or Google Street View, there probably maybe at least 1,000 driveways that were not legal prior to that are now legal. And there's no way that I could in good conscience say you had a permit and you were operating like this and then go back. The moving forward is difficult. There's plenty of things that we can do, but it certainly will be difficult.
Tanya, a lot of these driveways were okey dokied by a former mayor about 30 years ago, and you can't touch them today. I mean,
That's what she's saying, Rich. But what we need to do is figure out how we can move forward because we're getting complaints. So I don't know if when they get the certificate of occupancy that something should be required before they get it.
In the parking study, there was a suggestion to certify your driveway. So in order to have it as legal, you would have to have a certificate, and then you'd also be
Correct.
paying an additional fee on it. The only issue with that, of course, is getting all of them,
Mhm.
getting that out, but.
Or when they request to paint their lines or, you know,
Yes,
because people be painting their own lines
sure do.
in the street. It's
Yes.
okay.
So we have to figure this out, Tanya, moving forward.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I want to finish. Matt?
Yeah, so I'm hearing kind of an odd one here. And on 4.1, it's a second reading ordinance, chapter 84. And no reason this should slow down. I think the council should opine and make a decision on this. But this, just as a reminder, this had a sister ordinance. It's listed under tabled item 11.6. And to confuse things, it's ordinance 23-078, so not 24-078. And it's an ordinance amending chapter 345. And it was essentially pulling back a dual responsibility for cannabis establishments and distributors between the planning board and zoning board slash the cannabis control board, and allowing those uses in more of a black and white sense in what zone they're permitted, they're allowed, pursuant to approval by the CCB. So it was fully handing over the reins to the Cannabis Control Board, which is what the second reading ordinance before you does. So I believe that if you are moving forward with the adoption of 4.1, at a subsequent meeting, you should untable that and move forward with that sister ordinance.
You're saying untable, which one is that? The
11.6.
11.6. Okay, so that would be the accompanying ordinance we'd untable in order to.
Correct. And I don't think that that's to say that the 4.1 has to slow down. It does not. But there will be maybe a slight time when there's still this two-headed animal between city planning and CCB.
And you're saying 4.6 would streamline the process?
That's correct. It would remove a hoop for potential business entrepreneurs.
Okay. And in your determination and also the director that this would be positive in terms of?
They were originally written in tandem with the law department.
Okay. What does the law department say?
And Councilman, we did actually refer the draft of the ordinance to planning to review, and that was their recommendation back, the 11.6, the changes to 345. If you want to talk about, we did make some additional changes in between first and second read. If you want to speak about those now, Council President. As to 4.1, some of the council members did provide us suggestions. We made any changes that we deemed non-substantial. So there are a few red line. Anything included in red was an update from first to second read. I can summarize, and then if anybody has any questions, we did clarify the grandfathering language on page 3 of the ordinance to make sure it's clear that anybody that filed an application before the moratorium went in place would be grandfathered in terms of the caps in each ward and in total. We also just made some other clarifying language to get rid of redundancy on page 4, as well as clarify the legal age is 21. We also did some other clarifying language about the use of vehicles for, they are allowed to be able to be used for delivery as long as they have the valid Class 6 license or the certification issued by the CRC. We also included at the council suggestion that if a business has been given a council resolution of support and they've not opened in 6 months, that be included in the report from the CCB that is supposed to be provided to the council quarterly. That's not a substantial change. It also includes including but not limited to. So if the council wants to see anything else, they can request that in the CCB report. And then lastly, the other change to speak about where we went through the draft of the ordinance in terms of the definition of school. Multiple times we use the definition of school in chapter 345. It's up in including secondary education. It does not include universities or institute of higher education. So to make that consistent, also consistent with the NJAC, the rules on this in terms of how we can regulate it. We've updated on page 9 in 84-53BE. We've removed university or institute of higher education and replaced it with public or non-public elementary or secondary school building. We think that's consistent and clarifying. Those are the changes we made between first and second read. Anything else that was suggested to us would be substantial.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question. Now, is there anything that we can put in there if they are licensed and there is some type of event, festival, that they cannot vend on the outside?
That they cannot be a vendor?
They cannot be. They cannot be. I've seen that over the weekend. They were outside, some of them that had license and they were vending and they was definitely trying to sell edibles. I've seen it for myself. So is there something we can put in writing?
Yeah,
If they do that, they lose license. Because it's supposed to be.
They would be in
controlled
violation of
substance.
state law, so that's something if, it comes up on their renewal.
I don't know what we have to do, but I know we need to put something in there to make sure we clear with that. Because I was out, went to various places and I was shocked.
There is also, recently Governor Murphy did sign a bill regarding hemp and regulation of hemp products. We're waiting on regulations for that. There was also a partial dismissal of it in the federal court. So that could also be an issue if we're dealing with hemp or the hemp drinks and things like that.
So the hemp. What is edibles with THC in it? I mean,
There's different kinds. There's like a Delta 8. And then, sorry.
So the
I understand what you're
Not
saying.
that
But I'm telling you what I'm
the
saying.
long and the short of it is that hemp plants have substantially less active substances in them than cannabis plants. And there was a bill that went through the federal legislature that allowed you to sell hemp-based products that I think had up to a very small percentage of THC in it. So I think that's what you're probably seeing at these events.
So they
That's-
shouldn't sell them. The only reason why I'm saying that, because if this is something controlled, okay, based on what these small businesses have to go through just to get the license and to get the facility, safe. Now they just come and sitting up a table on the outside and they can sell it to anyone. Nobody's asking for nobody's ID or anything like that. Now, I understand what you're saying, but I'm telling you what I'm seeing. Okay, so what can we put in place to safeguard it? That's all. It is happening.
So if
just wanna
federal
know what
law
we can
says
do.
it's legal, we're not necessarily in the grounds to say it's not. However, as Brittany said, there was state legislation that was passed about this. There was a challenge in the courts on it, which was partially successful. So we're probably going to have to wait and see how this plays out. This is the joy of the federal government and the state government not being on the same page on things.
I understand it, but I'm just amazed when we want to go against the federal government, we put law in place. When we don't want to, then we come up with let's wait and see. I understand what you're saying, John, but to me it's a dangerous thing because when you're at these festivals, sometimes some children look grown. They don't look like they're 15. They don't look innocent. And so, for them to go up and purchase it, and then if something happened, then they look to the city and say, why was there nothing in place to protect this? Now, like I said, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just amazed when we want to, we put it in and say, well, let's see what the courts say then. Let them challenge us. So why can't we put something together and let's say, let them challenge us because this is happening?
We'll explore it. I mean, one of the things that the challenge didn't upset was the age restriction of 21 and up. So if people are selling it to minors, we can absolutely do something about that.
Correct, because they've been asking for ID.
Maybe like a disclosure, if someone's doing a market or whatever, they would have to disclose if there's hemp or any controlled substances, and that would be part of the application. And then they'd have to basically have a sign that says no sale for anyone 21 and make sure that they check the ID.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, that's
something we
fine.
could look
And
into.
it's pursuant to law, so.
Brittany, go ahead, John.
The best way to regulate that would be through the permitting process, because that's at the point where the city has a stance to accept or not accept the application and the continuance of the festival. So we can make that, if the council wishes to legislate that those items are exempt on an application or permit, that would be at the discretion of the council. We just cannot say that it's illegal. We could say that we wish for it to not be participatory in the festival.
Brittany I guess I wish Maynard was there. So with the 600 foot, so the cap mount is what?
It's going to be 48 in total, 8 per ward.
48 per ward, but the distance as it relates to the other dispensary have shrunk to.
So it's no longer a strict requirement that they have to be 600 feet apart. They have to notify the CCB of everybody located within 600 feet, and it's for consideration. So it's not.
So the cap is at 48, right? Clearly there's more than 48 dispensaries in the pipeline. So are we going to cap it at 48? And then I guess as people go out of business, the other ones will come in. And then at what point do we stop taking them all together?
Stop taking applications altogether. So what would happen right now is, since we're going to do the 48 and 8 per ward, say 50 get approved in total. We won't be able, and this is in the update to the ordinance, the CCB can set periods for when they'll take new applications. So it might be, hey, we're down to 47 and Ward B has an opening. So they can take applications for Ward B because that's the only place a new one can go in. So you have to wait till it drops down below 48 and below the 8 per ward in order for us to issue a new one. So you would have to wait at 50, 55 until people drop out and it's available.
I don't know. I think 48.
Can I ask just a follow-up question on that? Can you just describe the rules around transferring of licenses? So, if we've, issued 8 per ward, one of the 8, goes out of business or can't, maintain, what happens to that license at that point? Is it defunct and there's new applications? Can they sell it to a new company? How does the sort of licensure work?
As far as I know, it would be that the license is available. We haven't dealt with any transfers of the license. I think the CRC, I can look into that, since the CRC actually issues the license. I can see what the transfer rules are on that. But for us, it would just be that there's an available license for the city and we can fill that application.
Sure. If you guys could confirm that, that'd be
Confirm
great.
that, yeah.
And then we may have gotten this in the past, but can we get a list of obviously every approved license per ward at this point, and then everything that's in the pipeline?
Yeah, Director Richardson has that available.
Yeah, we could.
I'll share that.
So then we will know at this point how many above the 8 we're permitting per ward who have, gotten in before the moratorium.
Absolutely. Ward D has the most, but we will get you the full list. As of right now, I believe 14 are open.
And also, my last question is, so Ward D have the most, you said, right?
The most approved.
Right, so if it's 48, let's just say it's 48 applications pending. Ward D already have, the threshold is 8, they have 14. What happens if Ward F only have 6? Do they have the right to, how does that work? Because when you register, is registering with that particular location.
Correct, yep, and it has to fall below both.
All right.
The 48 and 8.
Hey, I thought was
Hot City. Brittany,
Matt,
we changing?
anything else?
No, I'm sorry.
Matt, anything else?
That is it. Thank you for your time.
Okay,
Thank you.
Jimmy?
Good evening, council members, council president, council members. I am presenting resolution 24-736, which is agenda number 10.12. This is a claims resolution for Spin Cube in the amount of $26,144 for work performed in January of 2023. At the time when I approved this work, I had believed there was a resolution and a contract approved because this firm had done work for us previously, but that was not the case. So they submitted a claim, and it went through review, and I'm presenting it here for the services.
I was gonna ask.
Sure.
So this is for 2023, you said?
It was 2023, Councilman, but if you recall, 2022 is when we did the transition to the payroll period. So this was basically processing and data review and audit review for the old payroll system as we transitioned to the new payroll system. So it was a very necessary.
So we don't need Spin Cube anymore, or for now?
Those days are behind us, and I'm hoping most of you know everything is moving smoothly in that area. So we've kind of turned the page on that.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone. I have about 10 items for you today. I'll try to work through them quickly. A large bulk of them are mortgage discharges. Okay, so the first item that I have for you is agenda item 10.24. That's resolution 24-748. And it's a resolution to authorize, I'm sorry, I went to the wrong one. 10.25. I'm sorry, that's 24-7.49. A resolution for the municipal council to accept program year 2024 HUD entitlement funds. We received a total of $10,391,102.67 of federal grant dollars, specifically $5,267,978 of CDBG, $1,853,579.67 of home investment partnerships grant, $2,598,046 in HOPWA funds, and $448,992 in emergency solutions grant, and that's our grant for homelessness services. Okay, the next item I have for you is 10.26, a resolution to authorize the business administrator to execute the discharge of the mortgage encumbering 80/80.5 Woodward Street in Jersey City. They encumbered a home mortgage on the property for $54,000 in July of 1995. The homeowner intends currently to sell. In conducting the repayment calculation as required by the mortgage, there is a $80,000 repayment that is due. The next item I have for you is 10.27, and that's to authorize the discharge of the mortgage encumbering 103 Bayview Avenue. That mortgage was entered into in April of 2012. This was a GNHP first-time home buyer grant for $21,381.42. It had a 10-year restricted period. All conditions have been satisfied, and the debt is a deferred payment, no interest mortgage, and upon the conclusion of the term, the city is obligated to discharge the mortgage. The next item I have for you is 10.28, a resolution to authorize the business administrator to discharge the mortgage encumbering 170 Bergen Avenue. This was also first-time home buyer GNHP program. They purchased the home in June of 2006. They received $21,083.34. All terms and conditions have been satisfied, and the debt is a deferred interest, no interest mortgage, and upon the conclusion of the term, the city is obligated to discharge the mortgage. All right. 10.29 is a resolution authorizing the business administrator to execute the discharge of the mortgage encumbering 236 Whiten Street in Jersey City. This mortgage received assistance from regional contributions in November of 2000, and they received $40,000 of assistance. Based on the required repayment, there is a $49,689 repayment due. That is 10.29 for 236 Whiten. 49,000 $689. And just again, that is based on the difference of the fair market value of the property at the end of the restricted period, right? And the maximum allowable resale value of the property. All right, on 10.30, this is a resolution to authorize the business administrator to discharge a mortgage encumbering the property at 307 Winfield Avenue. This was also a first-time home buyer assistance. They purchased the property in September of 2013. They received $21,071.35, and no repayment is required. 10.31, to authorize the business administrator to execute the discharge of the mortgage encumbering 318 Arlington Avenue in Jersey City. This was a HORP, that's the Home Improvement Repair Program. This more assistance was provided in July of 2009. They received $26,700 and no repayment is required. For 10.32, this is a resolution to authorize the business administrator to discharge the mortgage encumbering 371 Halliday Street. This contract was entered into in September of 1992. They received $52,000 of CDBG funds. Due to the repayment calculation, there is a payment of $72,124.95 due. For 10.33, this is a resolution authorizing the business administrator to execute the discharge of the mortgage encumbering 415 Pacific Avenue in Jersey City. This home was assisted using home funds in the amount of $52,000 in June of 2001. And based on the repayment calculation, there is a repayment of $64,154.45 due. And the last item that I have for you this evening is 10.34, and this is a resolution requesting a permission for us to reprogram funds and amend the program contracts for our HOPWA, that's Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS and HIV, for our 2023 program year, which runs April 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2024. I just would like to note that HOPWA funds have a 3-year period to spend, and we are requesting us to be able to cancel $149,000 of the funds that's going to the Housing Resource Center, specifically for their tenant-based rental assistance program. And we would like to reprogram those funds to Let's Celebrate for them to also execute tenant-based rental assistance, which works very similarly to Section 8, where 30% of the residents' income is paid towards their rent, but due to their positive HIV or AIDS status, if they find themselves unable to work, the grant can cover the full amount of their rent.
So this is for individuals that have HIV and AIDS. It doesn't expand past that, correct?
That is correct.
That is for the new organization that's getting the funds, correct?
That is the rule for all of our HOPWA funds. So this was the same rules for the old organization that we're reprogramming from. We know that we've been having some issues with the Housing Resource Center. At this point, I think it is fair to say that they are currently a defunct agency and not truly able to execute on the grants moving forward. So based on this evaluation, we need to move towards an agency that can provide the assistance to the constituents.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, I just want the record to reflect that I'm extremely disappointed at the level of people who are losing their mind, losing their houses from this criminal 95-5 program. Most of these people are forced. I'm looking at the rate at some of these houses, what they're going for. I seen someone sell a house for less than $2,000. I mean, $200,000 because the taxes went from $4,000 to $13,000 in one jump. And it's just so heartbreaking to see these people invest in this area in Jersey City when no one wanted to live here, being forced out because this program, it's criminal in nature. I don't even know how the developer was the attorney for the buyer and the seller. That should have been a conflict of interest in itself. And just to see this, man, I'm just hurtful. Every week, every meeting, we're up here discharging mortgages because people are forced to sell their house and they're not even getting the worth of what their houses are worth, man. It's mind boggling. It's so sad.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, and I think that if you maintain the property for 30-something years, that you should be allowed to sell it at the market rate, because that even though that you were provided a grant opportunity to purchase this housing, you put in sweat equity and you essentially maintain that property. And I believe and I feel as though, it is criminal, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. There needs to be a change. I don't know if we could do that internally or if it requires state, or if we can pass a resolution to push the state, but we need to amend the guidelines for that, because it feels like they're just indentured servants. They're working the land and then they sell the property for a pittance. They're not able to reap that intergenerational wealth that they that would liberate them and their offspring. So I don't know what the point of the program is, just to, give them a roof and, hand the property back. But I know it's not you, Director.
No, it's not her.
I know. And I know you do a lot of hard work. I just put this out into the, into the world now so that we can discuss it and push back against this, because the councilman makes a very valid point.
Got your mic.
Yeah, so the issue with this is going to be that the 95-5 rule is very much dictated by a specific round of funding if you got it through HMFA under COA round 2. The city's position on this, if we had a 95-5 rule written into a deed restriction with funds that were not made available from HMFA, we've taken a much more liberal read on it, where it's or rather, I guess, conservative read, where the 95-5 would apply from what the maximum resale value was at the time the restrictions expired. So you're not having this hyperinflation where they bought a home for, let's say, less than $100,000. Now it's worth over $500,000, and 95% of that 400,000 is coming back to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. But if that's something you want to see get changed, it has been upheld by the courts as far as the state funding is concerned. We'd need something from the legislature, most likely.
Like state senate, state assembly to pass something?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Deja. Michael.
Good evening, Council President, members of council, Mike Manzella, Division of Transportation Planning. One item on the agenda for tonight, agenda number 10.40, resolution 24-764. This is a resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting to award a contract for consulting services in connection with the development of a new circulation element of the city's master plan. The council adopted resolution 24-604 in August to accept the grant award from the NJTPA for this project. There's no match required from the city of Jersey City, and this resolution is simply to authorize the RFP to be released for this study.
Michael, before you go, the barrels, are they going to be removed off Montgomery Street?
Council President, would you like me to?
Yes, go ahead and answer, please. Stay on top.
The city committed to Vision Zero in 2018 with the goal of eliminating all traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries by 2026. The intersection of Montgomery and Bergen has experienced 53 crashes over the past 5 years, 26 resulting in an injury. 13 of those involved pedestrians, including one pedestrian fatality in October of 2021. Right turn slip lanes encourage higher vehicle speeds and impact pedestrian safety. In April of 2022, the city implemented an interim closure of the slip lane as part of the Year of Open Space initiative. As the city does routine roadway pavement maintenance and management projects. Whenever possible, the city will incorporate life-saving interventions into those locations.
All right, well, Michael, this was done without my knowledge. I'm receiving calls from numerous people in that area. They want those barrels removed. Maybe if we had a traffic division in the police department that controlled traffic, things wouldn't happen, but they have to be removed, Mike.
Hey, Mike, quick question, Mike. Are we able to have stop signs on Bergen or no? Like going, I guess north and south. Because I know we have them on the up blocks, but like actually on Bergen, are we permitted to do that or no?
Yeah, so multi-way stop, Jen could probably answer this question better. She's the traffic engineer.
Oh, Jen, okay.
And it's coming up next.
Yeah,
Let me let the expert answer it, Mike.
Okay.
I'll let you.
Jen, come on, Jennifer.
Good evening, Council President, council members. Do you want me to start with answering the question or ordinances first?
Do yours first and then answer it.
Okay.
This way we stay full.
So I have 4 ordinances. The first one is agenda number 3.4, ordinance 2492. This is an ordinance to convert 12th Street between Monmouth and Cole Street into a one-way in the eastbound direction. This is in conjunction with the Cole Street Improvements Project.
Next, Jen.
The next one is agenda number 3.5, ordinance 2493. This is an ordinance to convert the intersection of Clinton Avenue and Sackett Street into an always stop intersection. In the past year, there have been several crashes at that intersection.
Is that with a precinct?
Yes,
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
1 block over.
Yes, Clinton and Sackett, okay.
Okay, next one is agenda number 3.6, ordinance number 2494. This is to convert 4 intersections downtown into always stop controlled intersections. The 4 intersections are Bay and Grove, Erie and Second, Grove and First, Warren and Steuben. Next. The last one is agenda number 3.7, ordinance 2495. This ordinance is to implement limited duration parking, 15-minute parking on Mallory between the hours of 9 and 5, 7 days a week, between Roosevelt and Lexington and at Mallory and Grant.
Who's going to be responsible? Because 15 minutes, who's going to be responsible for enforcing this?
Are you kidding?
It would be parking enforcement, but we will be striping it as 15-minute parking and also posting the signage as well.
Parking enforcement is almost never there any place in the city. They're short 46 people. Come on.
They have been on Mallory for the past couple of months, so yeah, that's where they all are.
Jennifer, they don't even have people following the sweeper to issue summonses. It's a shame what they've done to the parking authority, along with the couple other departments in the city.
So your question was, can we put stop signs on Bergen Avenue?
Yes.
So we typically like to put stop signs on local streets. Bergen Avenue is a minor arterial street, so it has a higher volume. But we can always do a warrant analysis to see if a traffic signal is warranted at any number of intersections. Is there a particular intersection?
Yeah. Bergen and Oak, because you come up Oak from MLK, you enter into Bergen, but if you on board, because the block kind of goes like this and jump and goes like that. So that's where, I've witnessed it witnessed at least 3 accidents that almost crashed there as well. So that it's very tricky because it's like, who have the right of way?
Yeah, there are a few offset intersections on Bergen Avenue. As part of a federal grant project that we're applying for, we are looking at a few intersections on Bergen Ave. I'm not sure off the top of my head if that one is on it, but I'll double check it and I'll get back to you.
Jen, I have a question. So when you guys do these amendments with time slots, there's a conversation, I'm assuming, that's happening between you guys and public safety, right? What is public safety saying? How are they going to enforce these new rules? I'd like to know, what are they saying to you guys? Because like Councilman Rich Bojan is saying, we do not have enforcement. We don't have manpower for that. So I'd like to know, what is the conversation that's happening with the public safety department? And are they saying it's okay to do it? Don't worry about it.
So the latest one that we did was on Bergen at SIP, and we did have conversations with public safety.
Who are the people you had a conversation with?
Lieutenant Ragland and Lieutenant Goodman. And we just let them know that this is coming up, and they said that they would enforce, periodically. They'll do, 1 to 2 weeks, and then, go to other locations and then come back as needed.
Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It said is right.
Oh, man.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Council President. The library has an item 3.9. It's a first reading ordinance, 24097. This is a franchise ordinance to permit the property owner at 307 Pacific, that's the Lafayette Branch Library, to install a ramp that will be in the right of way, that location. Okay, thank you.
First presentation, arts.
Good afternoon, Council President,
Afternoon.
Council members. Can you guys, okay, sorry, better? Great. Thank you for your time today. I am Elizabeth Phillips Lorenzo, and I'm a founding member and co-chair of the Jersey City Arts and Culture Trust Fund Committee, representing Ward F. Nothing, Councilman, enough? You don't like, not, we better than this. Sorry. I've lived in Jersey City for almost 30 years and have been actively engaged in the community relations for over 20 years. Myself and my executive committee are here to give you a summary of our Jersey City Arts and Cultural Trust Fund grant awardees. Our committee members are from each ward, and we have public and open meetings each month. Before our first grant cycle, the founding members spent long hours making sure that we were strategically inclusive to include all the arts and cultures that make up Jersey City. Each year, we provide in-person video and recorded training with the hope of encouraging all eligible residents and businesses to apply. We work with independent reviewers who are trained before they score all the completed applications. We have an ADA specialist who provides her knowledge to our applicants. Reviewers make recommendations, and awardees are finalized by the committee. We work in tandem with the Jersey City Arts Council and Jersey City Cultural Affairs Department. Thank you. It's staff, for all your hours and patience. Speaking of grant totals, please review page 1. We have, sorry. Yeah, did you guys get that packet?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay, we were able to fund 89 grants for a total of $860,000, and almost 210 Jersey City residents were directly impacted. If you refer to page 6 for the operating grant totals, 300,000, 34,396 for organizational art businesses and nonprofits. 23 total grants awarded, and the general size of a grant was 16,274. $250,000 overall impact combined between person and online. Next, I would like to introduce Amy Marley, who is also our co-chair. And then we have buttons for all of our council members to say, ask us about Jersey.
Good evening. My name is Dan Marley. I am an artist, an art educator, and a former art administrator for the Jersey City Public Schools for 32 years. It has been an honor to represent Ward C under Mr. Borgiano and work with my fellow ward members within the Jersey City Arts and Cultural Trust Fund. As a native Jersey City resident and homeowner, I, like all of you here today, am dedicated to providing our urban community with meaningful connections through the arts by building connections with each other and share experiences that celebrate the beauty of our stories, reflect our experiences, and transcend our differences while building strong bonds within all our wards as a community. If you look at page 5 in your booklet, we address accessibility for all is key in building art appreciation and education. Providing chair lifts, ramps, and ease for all to participate is key to building and sustaining our community. The arts provide a platform for all of us to voice our feelings, thoughts, and identities. Knowing our fund is providing equality and accessibility for all is indeed a positive for our city. Through the fund, the arts are more available for everyone to enjoy and have the opportunity to participate in, whether you are young or old, disabled or impaired, from every level socioeconomically across all of our wards. If you look at pages 9, 10, and you will see the free programming, development of individual resident artists, growth and sharing, all with the community at large through offering workshops, visiting studios, providing art lectures, are just a few of the many avenues now provided. If you take a look at page 11 and 12, we talk about art education is key in helping our residents to understand how art can and has enhanced their own life through experiencing firsthand music, dance, visual arts, and many other genres within their city. The fund has distributed 63% of funding through art education. And you can see there on page 11 that the educational program has awarded $319,574. A total of 46 grants have been awarded at an average of $8,440 per grantee. To date, these programs have impacted approximately 41,000 residents, both virtually and in person. And if you look at the page 12, and you look again at that breakdown, and you might ask yourself, does this add up to 100%? Well, there is an overlap in some of these areas, but they touch mainly on arts and culture and education. And I do want to say, working with Christine Goodman and her team, Migdalia, Erin, and Sarah, has been a very rewarding experience for me as a former art educator. And I think that this booklet is beautifully executed graphically, and I think easy for you to read. So if you have any questions, please feel free to do so. I now introduce Sandy Martini.
See you at the hilltop in a little while, and
Yes, I am from the hilltop.
Oh, hello. Oh, thank you all for this opportunity to talk about Jersey City Arts and Cultural Trust Fund. My name is Sandy Martini, and I've been involved in the arts my entire life. I was an artist in residence in the Newark Public Schools. I was a curator of education at the Jersey City Museum, and I was director of education at the National Academy Museum. Later, I became the director of cultural affairs for the Village of South Orange, where I ran arts programming for the town, and I was director of their municipal gallery. Today, I am honored to be volunteering for the town I live in and to be representing Ward D for the Arts and Cultural Trust Fund Board. I'm here today, like those before me, to talk about some of the things the Jersey City Arts and Cultural Trust Fund has been able to accomplish in its first round of grant making. You should all be very proud of this unique initiative to fund the arts, for as you know, this is the first city in the state to use a trust fund to support the arts, and one of the few municipalities in the country to fund the arts with an income stream. Jersey City's 2020 ballot initiative was supported by 65% of the voters. This proves to me that not only leaders like you recognize the importance of the arts to a community, its well-being, and its economy, but so do the residents. They really get it. The Arts and Cultural Trust Fund Board, the Jersey City Arts Council, and the Department of Cultural Affairs take the responsibility of disseminating this funding very seriously. It has been a priority from the planning stages to reach out to everyone who might be eligible for the funding. You've heard some of the ways we've done that already from the other speakers. Last year, we increased training to the grantees by offering several more in-person, online, and hybrid sessions, as well as offering one in-person session in a ward targeted because of lower turnout the first year. These efforts have been very successful. So this year, we will be continuing all the trainings and extending in-person meetings to each ward. You've already heard about the various organizational grants, but the trust fund also supports individual artists through individual fellowship grants administered by the Jersey City Arts Council. In the 2022-23 round, which you have in your hands, the Arts Council distributed a total of $100,000 to 20 artists with $5,000 awards to each. Artists who apply must be residents of Jersey City, they must be engaged in their community, and they must create new work during the fellowship period. So the trust fund undeniably benefits artists, art organizations, art businesses, and art education efforts. But the benefits don't end there. Each awardee is obligated to provide a direct public benefit, which is open and free to any resident of Jersey City. There's no formula for what that looks like, but applicants are encouraged to be creative in how best their work can engage with and provide free arts programming to Jersey City residents. There are many examples in the report of some of the public benefits, but I'd like to take a minute to just talk about one that I'm very familiar with that happens in my ward, in Ward D. Farms in the Heights is a farmer's market in Riverview Fisk Park. The market is not an arts organization, but it provides arts and cultural programming throughout the market season. The biggest event in Farms in the Heights is Day of the Dead. It's an event that began spontaneously several years ago when a Mexican-American artist and New Heights resident, Santiago Cohen, created a series of giant papier-mâché puppets. With a few neighborhood volunteers and a mariachi band, he brought them to the park during a market day in early November, to the delight of the market goers. Today, his vision has become a much-loved annual event. Beginning early in October, people come to his studio to help repair and make new puppets or to pick up puppet kits to finish at home. Kids in school make puppets from recycled materials while they learn about this Mexican tradition. Local merchants display puppets in their windows and sell special products and foods, and the neighbors contribute pictures to the giant ofrenda in the park on the day of the celebration. Each year, the celebration grows larger and more popular. It's become a 3-day event in multiple locations. It employs artists, musicians, dancers, and reaches hundreds of members of the public. It's offered free of charge because the costs of presenting it are covered by the trust fund. It's only one of many such events and programs supported by the trust. And since I have witnessed this event alongside a transformation in my neighborhood, I can say with full confidence, this is a very fine definition of a public good brought about by supporting the arts. And for that, I want to thank you, the leaders of Jersey City.
Thank you. Is there an art directory of all the artists in the city of Jersey City? Just period. Is there a directory? I just want to know, Christine.
As a precursor to the trust fund, we worked with NJCU on something called a cultural asset map.
Okay.
Still lives online. It's a living document and any artist can add themselves to that. It's also got a back end survey so we can understand more about the artists and the arts organizations that live and work here.
Okay. Because I see on page 12 with your the pie chart, I see in Ward A is only 9%. So I'm wondering, is there some type of directory that we have that we can reach out to the artists to let them know that there's funding available?
We absolutely can do that, and we do contact the artists that are there. What you're looking at, just to make sure we're all on the same page, is cycle 1. We're now in cycle 3 of the Arts Trust. And so to address things like the Ward A turnout, one of our committee members hosted an information session for the last cycle for Ward A residents specifically. So part of this process is for the committee to evaluate how the arts funding is being distributed throughout the city and to come up with a game plan for art outreach and improved outreach to artists.
And so with the funding that the Art Trust Fund distribute to the artists, there's always a mechanism that they provide something free and educational.
Well, the free definition is flexible because all arts programming is different, right? But we call it a direct public benefit, and we challenge our grantees to think about how they're building new bridges into the community through their arts projects and programs. And that is free for residents of Jersey City to interact and engage with the organization or the artist.
The reason why I'm concerned, because when I'm looking at the list of some of the people who receive funding from us, when they go and apply, when parents go and apply for certain art classes, the registration fee is costly for some people. So I'm wondering, because they receive funding from the our trust fund, is there a way that we can cover that registration fee for that child? Because I know for certain, some of the names on here, it's not a cheap school. It's just not.
So when you look at the overarching programming that an organization might present throughout a calendar year, they do have shows, programs, performances that may have a ticket fee. So it's not technically a prerequisite that they would have free programming throughout the year, but part of why we really want to make sure that you're understanding what's happening with the fund and that our committee is more connected to you is that we hear this kind of feedback, because as we talk about what a direct public benefit could be for an organization, if there's a need in your wards that you're seeing and we could help communicate that to the organizations, maybe that educational class could be a great option for them to start thinking about how to do a free program. It could be something like a backstage tour or a workshop or, pop-ups in the park where they get people hands-on with whatever their artistic medium is. It's a wide range of direct public benefits, but it is great to hear that, and we always welcome feedback.
And also with the schools, because the schools now are limiting art classes. They're limiting it. So I wonder, with our trust fund, is there a way we can partner with one of the arts organizations to see if they can provide some type of arts education or arts class or workshop for a school? Because there's not arts in a school like it once was. And so I'm just, because, this is the art trust fund and we coming up with new ideas all the time. So I'm just throwing all this out here because when I go around and I go to some of these schools, they don't have arts like they used to. They really don't. So I'm trying to think of children who are not exposed to the arts. And because we have an arts trust fund, is there a way that one of the art organizations can partner with the school based on the funding that we give them to help the schools for a workshop or something? That's all,
Yeah. One of the guidelines of the Fund for Arts Education is that the arts education programming needs to be open to the public. So we would certainly talk to any groups, any schools, and think creatively about how we can reach more children through the program.
Thanks a lot. Just something to think about. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
So make that available on the Cultural Affairs website if anybody is interested in reading it.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you. Now the SID. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you
Like long,
so much for having us. Sean, I have some documents.
we don't really like long presentations, so. So wisdom, tell us what to do.
I don't want to take up too much time.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. My name is Deidre Crockett, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Exchange Place Alliance. For context, I've been living and working in Jersey City since 2012, and I was one of the originators of the Exchange Place Alliance Special Improvement District. And I've also served as a board member on this organization also for many years. So I'm very passionate about the Exchange Place Alliance. We're here today to discuss a proposed expansion. As you know, our mission, the expansion map is on page 3 of the documents that have been handed out to you. As you know, our mission at the Exchange Place Alliance is to enhance the quality of life and experience in the waterfront district through a variety of initiatives. These include maintaining public spaces, such as cleaning, landscaping, snow removal, conducting regular maintenance, as well as large-scale capital improvements to reimagine public areas. We are also dedicated to supporting local businesses, activating public spaces, and fostering a strong community by sponsoring arts and cultural programming. Over the years, our efforts have evolved to meet the growing needs of the community, moving beyond the waterfront and towards Marin Boulevard and other nearby areas. There is a clear demand for the services and initiatives we offer, as they have been proven to be highly successful in improving the district. Expanding the district will allow us to deliver the same high level of service to adjacent areas that are currently underserved. We are proposing to expand our boundaries to include commercial buildings on a few blocks between Christopher Columbus Drive and 2nd Street. This expansion will ensure that all areas benefiting from our work contribute fairly to its costs. These buildings will be assessed in the same manner as those already within the district, helping to sustain and support our growing list of activities without adding any financial burden to residents. We've had open discussions with the mayor, city council, public board meetings, and a direct outreach program to the community about expanding the district in a focused way to include buildings adjacent to the current district. These are logical choices for where we should direct our efforts. Our current initiatives have significantly improved the waterfront district, both in terms of aesthetics and community engagement. In 2024, we reached a full program of sponsorships. These include, and are not limited to, Riverview Jazz Festival, Latin Jazz, the Art House Reopening Initiative, a memorial fund for the great Jeremy Farrell, support of the New Jersey Symphony, and many other events. Additionally, we have prioritized also safety initiatives, such as increasing police patrolling during peak activity hours and exploring the integration of CCTV cameras with the Jersey City Police Department to enhance security monitoring on the waterfront. More to come on this initiative in the future. Our community development projects, such as the Creative Center at 335 Washington, also known to some of you as the Ice House. This is included in your packet. We are also working at the Community Garden and Park at 325 Washington. And we are also working on the redevelopment of General Nathaniel Green Park and also including in that a community garden. Regarding our finances, currently we spend an approximately $200,000 per month on security, maintenance, landscaping, snow removal, arts support, local sponsorships, and operating costs. This leaves us with a capital budget of approximately $3 million. The addition of about 20 new commercial buildings as part of this discussed expansion will ensure a fair distribution of costs while providing the funding necessary to sustain and grow our efforts. This will raise capital budget by an approximate $1 million. We believe this expansion is a logical next step for the Exchange Place Alliance. It will bring successful services we offer to more parts of downtown Jersey City, improving quality of life, supporting local businesses, and fostering community engagement. Your support is essential in making this expansion a reality. We remain committed to transparency, accountability, and collaboration with the council to achieve our shared vision for Jersey City's continued growth and prosperity. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. I'm open to all questions.
Based on going down to this portion, Christopher Street, what will that do for the residents down there? And was they notified with things? Because we're concerned always when we extended, just like when we extended downtown, we wanted to make sure the residents around there were notified and the business owners that this was coming. Were they in agreement with it? So we want to know what happened.
Yes, we've been in contact with people from the city in terms of the expansion, and it's been favorable. This is going to be an addition of about 20 commercial properties that will pay about 0.2 of a percentage point. There is currently in this expansion a slight overlap with the historical downtown SID, and I've thought about some solutions to work around that and obviously give them what they're due also.
So that was my next question. So
I read your mind.
I don't, is it just barely overlapping or you're actually in there? Because I thought that we already went through this with them.
I think Don might be able to add a little bit more color. Thank you.
So the overlap is actually relatively minimal.
We can't hear you. Come on.
Don, you gotta get by the mic.
What's his name?
Don.
Excuse me, Don Pepe from Scrincy Hollenbeck.
I didn't recognize you with the beard.
I actually represent the Exchange Place Alliance.
Yeah.
So the overlap is fairly minimal, and we have had discussions with our sister SID, if you will. And the money that we collect, we're going to turn over their fair share portion. They're going to continue to maintain their areas. But one of the main emphasis and why we're seeking to do this is we're undertaking a lot of capital projects, right? It is great, and we've removed tens of thousands of bags of garbage and fixed sidewalks and replanted trees and done a lot of those things. And we've provided security, but one of the things that we're trying to undertake in the near future are these capital improvement projects, which are parks that cover the whole span of the downtown area, and the Ice House, which is going to be a multi-million dollar undertaking it's really going to be a resource for the entire city.
So Don, I get that, right? So I just want to be clear that the downtown SID is aware that you are like a lot overlapping and that they're okay with this.
That would be a condition of any expansion. Yes, I don't have a formal agreement with them. So I don't want to tell you that everything is buttoned up. There have been discussions. We've worked out a plan. Obviously, that would be a condition of any expansion.
Don, I hope we don't have any more situations like we had with the Polish statue, which caused Michael Young and I so many problems and dislike for the Exchange Place SID. I mean, the issues there were a disgrace. And I hope nothing like that happens now again.
Councilman, I could not echo your sentiment more. I wish that had never occurred, but I think that re-envisioning of the plaza is pretty well received now. And we respect that group and we respect every group in the city.
Yeah, well, they caused them enough problems. They caused me enough problems and Michael Young enough problems.
It's an unfortunate period in our history.
Dawn, our concern is just to make sure that the downtown SID is in agreement with this, because we don't need executive director coming saying no one consulting us. You know, they say they're gonna give us the money, how the money gonna be turned over. Those little things need to be worked out. Because it is, you're encroaching on her space too. So those things just need to be worked out. They do, and that's what we want to make sure is done. Okay?
Understandable and acceptable.
That's it. We good. We need to know that's done.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Sean, take it from the top. Finish.
Okay.
All right. First reading ordinances, item 3.1, City Ordinance 24-089 is an ordinance authorizing the City of Jersey City as a tenant to extend for a 2-year lease with 18 Ash Street Realty as a landlord for the space located at 46 State Street in Jersey City. Items 3.2 through 3.9 were touched on earlier. Item 4.1 was also touched on earlier and explained the amendment. So council members, when we do go to have a public hearing, we'll close the public hearing and then we'll have a motion to amend. Once we do that, we'll read the amendment into the record. I will also ask our acting corporation counsel to make sure it's not substantial change, and then we can go and vote on the ordinance as amended. Next, item 4.2, City Ordinance 24-087 is an ordinance amending Chapter 188 to establish a local preference for affordable housing units created by local regulation and requirement. I believe that this is going to be carried to the October 30th meeting. I would just need a motion from a council member to make that motion for me to carry it to.
Motion.
No, not now. At the meeting. We don't take any action at the caucus.
I know.
But I like joking. And once we get that motion, we'll move it to the October 30th meeting. John, did you want to add anything else? Okay. Next, item 4.3, City Ordinance 24-088 is an ordinance amending Chapter 321 of the Municipal Code of the City of Jersey City.
John, we're probably going to entertain a motion to defeat it. There's some changes that have been discussed for it, which probably are material changes. They're not just going to be clarifying. So just so you know, we'll probably have more details on that over the next day.
So we're going to hold the public hearing and then defeat it, or we're going to?
Probably want to make the motion defeat before the public hearing because we're going to have additional language that the public's going to.
Is this the ordinance for the private trees?
Yes.
Can I just put two quick things on the record? I know you guys are working on it, but just one. I know there's a DEP law that we're responding to. If you guys could just give us a memo on what that law requires the city to do, just so we're all on the same page, that'd be great.
It's literally in the whereas clauses in the model ordinance. I can put something together for you. Explain more. There's not actual law, it's a decree.
It's just a model ordinance. Got it. Okay. And then obviously, I think that the two major things that flagged for me is obviously the notice requirements are, I think, onerous and maybe I don't think need notice requirements for this type of a situation.
So the notice requirement was really only supposed to affect the neighboring property owners
Okay.
for safety purposes and other things like that. We're going to address that. It doesn't
Okay.
need to be 200 feet.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think as limited as possible, just because it is pretty onerous. And then my understanding is this might be somewhere else in the code, but some emergency provisions. So, if there's a dangerous situation and somebody may not have the funds to apply for the permit to pay for some of the costs to be able to say, hey, look, this tree is a danger and I need to get it removed. And just make sure maybe the forester has an ability to in a 24-hour basis, sign off on something like that versus having to go through this process.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll make a motion to go right to defeating the ordinance without holding the public hearing, since we're going to defeat it and introduce a new one down the road.
And clerk, sorry, just to go back to 4.2, the chapter 188.
Yep.
I think we had discussed it originally, forgetting the right word, but moving this to the next meeting in October. I think there's one or two language things we've got to figure out before the meeting. So that's 4.2.
Yep. And as long as those language changes are not substantial, we can move and go for a final consideration of a vote on October 30th.
Right. Thanks.
Okay.
We already got a motion from Rich.
Yeah, I'm going to remember that.
Keep it in mind.
We have our public speakers. We're up to 41 at this point.
Only 41?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a light week.
Okay. From your mouth to God's ears. So petitions and communications, items 6.1 through 6.41. Any questions or comments? There are no officer communications. Any questions or comments on reported directors, 8.1 through 8.10?
I heard Denise.
What's that?
Oh, nothing. No.
Okay. And we have our claims and on to our resolutions. Items 10.1 through 10.6 were touched on earlier. 10.7, Resolution 24-731 is a resolution to commemorate Soaring Heights Charter School on receiving the 2024 National Blue Ribbon Award. Item 10.8, Resolution 24-732 is a resolution in commemoration of the 90th anniversary of Ocean Avenue Baptist Church. And item 10.9, Resolution 24-733 is a resolution recognizing September 21st as Global Cast Awareness Day in Jersey City. Item 10.10 was touched on earlier. Item 10.11, Resolution 24-735 is a resolution in support of Christ Hospital and calling for Hudson County and state leaders to support its financial restructuring and long-term stability. Item 10.12 was touched on earlier. Item 10.13, Resolution 24-737 is a resolution appointing Charles Mullins as a member of the Jersey City Housing Authority. Item 10.14, Resolution 24-738 is a resolution reappointing Sean Prince as a member of the Jersey City Housing Authority. Item 10.15, Resolution 24-739 is a resolution appointing Mary Ellen Gillick as a member of the Jersey City Ethical Standards Board. And item 10.16, Resolution 24-740 is a resolution reappointing Armando Molina as a full-time judge of the Jersey City Municipal Court. Items 10.17 through all the way through, keep it going, 10.47 were touched on earlier. Item 10.48, Resolution 24-772 is a resolution authorizing the release of a restriction on a property located at Block 25202, Lot 76, on the tax map of the city of Jersey City, also known as 446 Ocean Avenue.
No, this is different than Dacia's. Someone acquired the property through tax sale foreclosure. Basically, they got it at an auction. The city had taken it pursuant to foreclosure a long time ago. And as a condition of every single property we sell at auction at that point, it says you need to get a certificate of occupancy and then approval by the council for any future sales. The person got their continuing certificate of continued occupancy, I believe back in either 14 or 16, was a while ago, but it presented a title issue when they were trying to sell the property. So this is to Yeah, yeah, right on the corner of Ocean and Fulton, I think. Yeah.
Next, item 10.49, resolution 24-773 is a resolution authorizing the payment of a claim from Eric M. Bernstein and Associates for representing the city of Jersey City in tax appeals.
Sean, this is ours.
Okay. You can go.
No questions.
Oh. What's that? Is 10.50 and 51 yours as well?
Yes, they're
Okay.
mine as well. 1050, this is a renewal of a contract with our LexisNexis. We use this as legal research software. We have up to 29 users. It's a new 3-year contract. We need it and use it often. And then also 1051, that's continuing professional services in a lawsuit that we are mediating soon and hopefully can get back on track and resolve.
Okay, and last but not least, item 10.52, resolution 24-776, which is a resolution authorizing a contract with RD Parisi as an extraordinary unspecifiable service to provide the city of Jersey City with insurance consulting services to be the city's broker of record for obtaining and monitoring the city's health benefits, prescription, and stop loss coverage. Hearing no questions, may I have a motion to adjourn at 6:07 PM? I believe I heard a motion from Councilperson Rivera. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Slay. All in favor of the motion to adjourn at 6:07 PM? All council members present by acclamation, please say aye. We are out of here at 6:07 PM. Thank you so much, everyone in attendance and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have a great night and stay safe.